Hello, everyone. Today we are continuing on our natural fibers and we have started cellulosic fibers. So we're going to continue with cellulosic fibers. Last week we covered cotton. This is a seed hair fiber. And today we're going to go into bast fibers. These are the fibers that come from the stem of the plant. And flax, rami, hemp, jute, these are all bast fibers that come from the stem of a plant. So flax is the fiber name of linen fabrics. Now, bast fibers come from the stem, we said. What happens is you take the stem and you go through a process called retting. So with that process, you're actually decomposing those fibers or the stem so that the fibers are separated in the stem. And then you can get the fibers. Eventually, you have to turn them into lengths that are similar to cotton so that it can be processed in the same equipment that we process cotton, because cotton machinery is basically the basics of all fiber and yarn processing machines. So this is the process we go through with bast fibers. Rippling is removing the seeds first, and then we ret it. Retting is a bacterial process. So you're decomposing the pectin that holds the fibers together, and then you remove the fibers from the stalk. Scotching is removing the woody portion. Hackling is removing short and irregular fibers out of it, and then eventually cottonizing to make it look more like cotton in length. This is a raw flax fiber. You can see they're a bit stiff, and this is a natural color that it comes with. We usually bleach them to be able to dye them to different colors. Flax is one of the oldest textile fibers, and we use them in so many different areas like tablecloths, drapery, and Belgium and Ireland produce really good linen products in general. Now, the long fibers of flax are called line, and the short fibers are called tow. So line flax and tow flax means line are the longer fibers, and that's where linen comes from. If you look at the surface of flax fibers, they do have those knots along the surface, and the cross section can be varied. So I'm going to show you a couple of pictures. So this is where you can see the knots. This is an actual flax fiber under the scanning electron microscope, and this is the cross section. So it's very irregular, but it has those like hectagonal type corners. This is a bleached flax tow, and this is a natural one. So you can see the difference between bleached and not bleached or raw color. Now, linen and cotton are very strong fibers. They're usually stronger when they're wet. This is a very unique quality that only linen and cotton has, because many other fibers can be weaker when they're wet. Linen and cotton are not. They don't stretch much. They don't have good elongation. They don't have good elastic recovery, worse than cotton. Their resiliency is worse than cotton, which means they wrinkle more than cotton. They're all hydrophilic because they're cellulosic. All cellulosic fibers are hydrophilic. They love water. They absorb water and moisture, so it makes them really good for summer clothing. And they have the same properties just as cotton. They can be damaged by silverfish. They're not affected by moths. They have resistance to any kind of detergents, soaps, any alkalis, even bleach, and they're good with dry cleaning as well. They are pretty stiff. in general. And it does have a natural luster because of the waxes or the pectin that is in the system that holds the fibers together. Even though we try to decompose that when we are trying to get the fiber, it still gives a little bit of a natural luster to linen, but it still doesn't have a lot of luster compared to other fibers, especially synthetics. And sometimes we go through a process called beetling to make it more lustrous. We use them a lot in drapes, tablecloths, and things like that. They're opaque. They're not see-through in general, depending on how you make them. And this is a beetled linen, so you can see a little bit of luster. This is the fabric here, and this is the magnified view. So you can see a little bit of that luster in the beetled linen. It wrinkles very easily. It's hard to get the wrinkles out. So you have to use high temperature on the iron, sometimes steam, to remove the wrinkles. The dimensional stability is fine. It doesn't shrink as much as cotton. Shape retention is generally good. It's a strong fiber, good abrasion resistance. It is damaged by long exposure to sunlight. So it will be damaged eventually, but it is more resistant to light than cotton is. That's why we prefer linen for draperies instead of cotton. Good absorption, good wicking properties, low elasticity. It doesn't have any static buildup. And again, cotton and linen fabrics don't get static buildup because they are hydrophilic. They absorb moisture, so the moisture prevents the static. They're not allergic to the skin. You can clean them in any way in the washing machine, dry cleaning. You just have to spend some time to iron these fabrics. In terms of storage, it's exactly the same as cotton because it's a cellulosic fiber. So you don't want to put it in a moldy environment where it can get damaged by silverfish. You don't want to leave juice or acidic stains on it because it will damage the fiber. This L is usually on fabrics. I mean, you probably wouldn't see that much in the United States, but it's a European linen of quality label that you will see sometimes in very good quality linen fabrics coming from Europe. All right, so that was all about flax, and I do want to show you guys a little bit on iTextiles as well. So this is a good picture that shows the flax fiber, the plant. It has the seeds, and then you have to separate the stalk to get those fibers. This is the cross section. This is the nodes. I just showed you those. These are different linen fabrics. These three on top are actual linen, and those are fabrics that are made to look like linen. This is a linen rayon blend. They're very strong fibers, like I just mentioned, but they wrinkle a lot. And we use them in apparel, in draperies, upholstery, wall coverings, tablecloths, napkins, bed linens. This is a handkerchief made out of linen. This is a drapery that I showed you. So this is what you can also get from your iTextiles if you want to go there. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about other bast fibers like Rami. This is also very stiff, and because it is stiff, it is used in ropes, nets, geotextiles, sometimes can be used as a blend. Sometimes you'll see a portion or a percentage of Rami in sweaters, shirts, blouses, a lot in window treatments, table linens, pillows. These are cellulosic fibers again, so they're stronger when they're wet. They can be a little bit brittle because of that stiffness. Hemp is another one. We don't use them in the United States because the plant looks very much similar to marijuana. But in many other parts of the world, hemp is used to make fibers and fabrics. They're a little bit coarser and stiffer than flax fibers, but we use them in twine, cordage, thread, shirts, hats, backpacks, and those type of materials generally. Jute is another best fiber. It's pretty cheap. These are very short fibers. They are not the strongest, I should say, but they are used in bagging, carpet backing, rope, cordage, and things like that. And this is another bast fiber, kenaf, and also hibiscus. These are also used generally for cordage, twine, rugs. So they're pretty stiff fibers. And then the leaf fibers come from the leaves of the plants. So for example, the pineapple plant leaves, as you can see in this picture, it's called pinna fibers. These fibers can be used in a lot of different applications, bags, mats, even formal wear, some linens. Abaca comes from the banana tree family. It's one of those type of plants. They're very coarse. We use them in ropes, cordage, floor mats. Sisal and henequen, these are also natural leaf fibers that can be used in upholstery, carpets, rugs, wall coverings. These are durable, natural materials that can be used. There are other cellulosic fibers that I'm not going to talk too much about, but like seagrass, corn husks, rush, we use them in interiors in general. Paper yarns, we use them in wall coverings. Wooden slats and grasses, these are obviously natural because they come from plants, they're cellulosic. We use them for window treatments in general. Wicker furniture is made out of twisted paper yarns, seagrass, abaca, or raffia. Wall panels and wall coverings can be made out of shredded straw, bark of plants. So these are all cellulosic materials that we use in interiors. Okay, so this is all I have for flax and cellulosic fibers. On our next class, we're going to start talking about protein fibers. And don't forget to complete your assignment for this. It's going to be due before the next class.